Welcome back to this clown's garage. In this video I will show you how to do a timing chain on a V6 3.1 GM motor. This is a third gen Camaro, so this will be the same for any car from 82 to 92 Camaro / Firebird with a 6-cylinder engine. Also, other cars that have the GM 3.1, it's very similar. So we took the intake pipe off, which was a custom little piece, which is right there. So that you just need a little Phillips head screwdriver for that, or flathead, sorry. And next thing we're gonna do is take this upper radiator hose off, then take the serpentine belt off. So let's begin. Alright, I'm gonna take the upper radiator hose. There's a clamp right there. You can use a flathead. And make sure you put a pan underneath to collect the antifreeze. And also make sure you have bought antifreeze from the auto parts store. So we're just gonna let that drain now. You can take the belt off now. So just move the radiator hose up and over. Now we're gonna do the belt. And as you can see right there, the tensioner. It's a 15mm bolt. So you need a 15mm socket with we're using a half-inch drive. So we're gonna go ahead and take the tension off the belt. Remember how it's routed? Or if you don't remember how it's routed, it also tells you right here. So if you forget, that's how it's routed. Next thing, we're going to take that hose off the water pump. So go ahead and do that. Get some pliers. Alright, now you gotta break the seal over here. So you can also go in with the flathead screwdriver here, just to crack that loose. I'll put a little pry bar there. We broke the seal, so I'm just gonna put a little pry bar and help me take it out.
There you go. That's all.
Now I'm just going to pull it through here. It goes underneath this tensioner. And I'm going to put that to the side. Alright, now I'm going to take the water pump pulley off. There's different ways of doing this. You can put a strap wrench over here and hold this. Or you can just put a screwdriver in here between the bolts to hold it from spinning around as you crack these loose. These are 10mm bolts. I would also recommend changing the water pump while you're here, because you know, you can take this off anyways. So I'm gonna go ahead and support this while I crack these loose. You put the flat head right there between the bolts, and you do like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this all around. And the last bolt. Now, if this is difficult to come off, you can put a little pry bar behind it to pry it off. That comes off just like that. Okay, now we're going to take the power steering bracket off. This over here is a 10mm bolt. There's another 13mm bolt right there. So crack that loose. Alright, so now you gotta take this bolt off. It's a 13mm bolt. That's the bracket for air conditioning compressor. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that bolt off. Now you have this bolt here too. It's another 13 millimeter for the AC bracket. This is also a 13 millimeter bolt. Actually, it's a stud. So take this nut off. Now you can take this bracket off here. There's two 1/2 inch nuts over here. So take those off. Now we can take the whole AC compressor and the bracket off in one shot. And then slide it to the side. Alright, now to remove this whole AC compressor to the side, you gotta take these two sensors off. So you just pop this. And this is actually, the previous owner put these in there like that. There's actually a clip, a little harness clip that goes in there. So I'm gonna try to fix that later. And now take this off. There's two clips on the side here. You gotta pry them off and pull this whole clip up. Just like that. Just like that. And move that whole harness to the side. Put that to the side. Then you can move this whole thing over. And out of the way. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to zip tie it here. So it's out of the way. Now I'm going to zip tie these AC lines to these fuel lines with the zip tie here. And I can do it too tight. Just enough to hold it in place. That's it. So on the power steering bracket, millimeter nut, these are 15 millimeter nuts over here. So take those off too. One. Now it's cracked loose, and I just gotta thread it out. That's the other nut. Alright, now you just pull the pump forward, and in the front you'll see how the pump just comes right off. Just like that. Right now over here, I'm going to put a zip tie in here. I'm going to zip tie it to these lines over here. Just like that. Alright, now we have 1, 2, 3 13 millimeter bolts. So take those off on the water pump over here. Also loose. One over here. And another one right here. Now these here, you have 10 millimeter bolts surrounding the whole water pump. Take those off too. These are 8 millimeter bolts over here. and another 8mm down here. Take the bottom hose clamp off. Now you can do this in the beginning, but we're doing it now. Anyway, let's go take this off. Twist it first and pull it down. Alright, now I'm gonna get a pry bar. We'll put it around the nipple here and then rest it on this bracket and try to pry it off. Just like that.
There she goes.
I'm gonna take the crank pulley off now. There's 4 10mm bolts that I'm gonna take off now, and there's also the middle bolt which I'll take off later. Now if you don't have the impact gun, I'm cool because I'm a clown and I have one. You can put a strap wrench here to hold this, and you go ahead and take these off. Or you can also block the flywheel. You can put a vice grip on it, prevent it from turning around. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take these off now. And the last one. Another bolt in the middle. It's an 18mm bolt. Go ahead and zap that bad boy off. The whole thing just comes right out. Alright, now we got this from the parts store, auto parts store. This particular one is from AutoZone, but you can go to any auto parts store that has a free loaner program. This is OEM tool 27019. This is a harmonic balancer puller. From this kit, we're going to use this end tip that goes over there. We're going to use this, and we're going to use these. And I'll show you how this all goes together on the car. I'm gonna put this one in first, and then at the end over here, just put this tip. Yeah, baby. Alright, now you're gonna have to play around with this, see how many holes you can line up with these slots here. Now in this case, this is the best way to do it, and we're only using 2 bolts to hold it down in this case. Sometimes you have 3, but in this case we just use 2. So let me go ahead and put these bolts in. It threads right in there. So let me go ahead and thread that in. Alright, now you thread these in as much as you could go by hand, and you go a little bit tighter with a ratchet if you want, but don't go too crazy. And same thing on this end. Like I said, you can tighten these down a little bit with the ratchet, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Alright, make sure they're threaded in almost the same depth, and I'll go ahead and turn this all the way down until it goes in the hole, baby. Alright, now what you gotta do is also you gotta either take the flywheel cover off and put a vice grip on the flywheel, and as you turn it, it'll stop on the vice grip, or wedge a flathead screwdriver into the flywheel, or there's a flywheel turner tool. You can hold the flywheel as somebody does this. Or another option is, if you want to take all that stuff off, you could put, well, I'm doing in this case, I'm putting a pry bar in here, and it's gonna go on the case over here and prevent this damper from turning as you tighten this down. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten this bad boy down. It's coming loose. You hear it cracked loose. And now the harmonic balancer is coming out. And she's out. Now, I put the pry bar on this over here. sometimes you can't do that because you don't want to bend the timing cover. So you have to have the motor to do that. Well, if it depends on how your motor is situated, what's in front of the block. So that's how you take it off. Now there's a ground strap here. That's an 18mm bolt that holds it in place. You're gonna take that off. Right there, with a little star washer. Right now there's a couple of 10mm bolts. There's one here. There's one here. Alright, now it's ready to take, you're ready to take this cover off. So you wedge your pry bar in the back over here, where the lower radiator hose goes onto, and the head. And just pry it off, just like that. And I'm going this side, pry it off too. Go. And now I'm going to put the pry bar on this side.
We're going to end the video here and leave you guys in suspense.
And we're done. Just like that. Alright, now that you have the timing chain over here, a way to tell to see if it's stretched is to see if you have more than ½ an inch play back and forth. Now this is good. If one side is a lot more than the other, then turn the crank a little bit until they even them out. And then you check to see if it's ½ an inch on each side. Now what I'm going to do is, if you don't put the motor on top dead center, you're going to have to do it now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the crankshaft bolt, take the washer out, put a socket on here, and thread this bad boy in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this mark here, that dot, with the dot over here. They have to be exactly facing each other in a straight line up and down. 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. So I'm just going to thread this in and turn the crankshaft until they line up. Now, to make this easier on you, you can take the spark plugs out so you don't build compression as you're turning it. So I'm just going to go ahead and tighten this down. Alright, so I drove this all the way down. Now I'm just going to go and tighten it down some more. And as you can see, this is turning and the marks are about to line up. And as you can see here, this mark is exactly on a number 6 vertical, but this is not. This should have been more this way, on the line with this. That's the bottom, points straight up. The top doesn't point straight down. Let me see if I can get a better angle here.
You can also see that the teeth are worn. You can see the wear marks on that.
It's not lining up right there. That means this timing chain jumped a tooth. And you could tell over here, like Brianna just said, my camera girl. The teeth marks here are scored. Our tensioner bolts now are 7/16. So there's 2 of them. I'm gonna take those off. Alright, now you can just grab the tensioner and take it right off. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these cam bolts off. There's 3 of them. There's 10mm. These are 10mm bolts. Alright, now that you have the cam gear out, make sure the parts are the same with the new parts. Here, what I'm doing is I'm making sure the dot aligns to the other dot over here, and make sure all the holes match up. You get the 3 bolt holes and a dowel key that goes in here. That should match up with the bottom, the dowel key. so when you index it, it'll be correct. Also make sure it's the correct thickness with the gears. And this one looks good. Now we're gonna put the jaws on here to slide this out. Alright, let's take the timing gear off now. The crankshaft timing gear. You need one of these OEM tools. Part number 27011. This is also from the Auto Parts Loaner Tool program. And this is what it looks like. You might want to unscrew these over here to have them less tight so you can move this around. And I'm also putting this over here, and that's from this tool here, the balancer remover kit 27019. So let's go on there and take this crank sprocket off. Hey, let's get this biatch out. So you pop these around the gear like so, and you thread this out. You put the Roman soldier helmet right there. And you tighten it down. Now as you're cranking it down, make sure this bolt, this screw over here, goes straight in. You don't want it cockeyed because it's not going to work too well. Alright, now this is a 1/2 inch over here. So let's crank her down. And she's coming out, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
And it's off.
And that's all she wrote. Ta-da! Now, as you can see here, this is all scored. So, what happened here is these got scored up, and that's why it over time it wore down and it skipped a tooth. So the gear we're putting on now is from this Federal Mogul kit, Z5-FMG. This is what it comes with, these 3 things. So I'm going to put this gear on. Alright, now we're going to put this into a pan and heat it up into the oven over here at 500 degrees for about 5 to 10 minutes. And I'm always going to put a little bit of butter sauce, baby, just to make things go a little smoother. Pop this bad boy in here. Put a leather glove on. Now be careful, it's going to be really hot. Ideally you want the temperature to be around 250 degrees when you put this in. But I had it in there, 500 degrees, about 10 minutes because it's really cold outside and I got to run to the car when I take it out. So we'll go ahead and take it out now.
Nice.
Just like that.
See that it's smoking. It's the little butter sauce you put on it.
That's right, baby. So now when that cools down, it's going to contract and go down and have a nice press fit on there.
Beautiful.
Alright, now I put the old gear here back on because I want to show you guys how to align this with this one if it's way off. You just put 2 bolts here and you put a pry bar in between. And you just turn the cam a little bit, just like that. And if you want to turn it the other way, you just put the pry bar in between here and turn it the other way. And that's it, it's lined up. That's how it's supposed to look. Now I can put the new camshaft gear on it and the chain on it. Alright, now put the chain down first in, then put the dial key in on top. Just like that. Now that these lined up, the same tension is on both sides, so you know you're squared, indexed correctly. Now in these bolts, I'm going to put some third locker red. Just a dab on here before I put them on. And I'm going to go ahead and put these on now. Okay, we look kind of jumped the gun a little bit here, but not a big deal. I'm gonna put a piece of paper towel in here to cover this chain while I scrape the old gasket material off with the razor blade. I'm just gonna go ahead around and take all this stuff off. Alright, I scraped everything clean. Also plug up over here where the oil pan is with some towels, and I'm gonna go ahead and blow everything out. Same procedure on the timing cover. Clean everything up. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Now the other side of the timing cover, where the water pump goes, clean all that, do the same procedure here. Alright, now to pop this oil seal out, what you can do is you put a little flathead screwdriver right there and just knock it out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Just like that. Now clean this up here. Alright, so we got a Felpro gasket here for the timing cover. This is part number TCS45828. And you get a new crank seal. And you get a bunch of gaskets over here. So we're going to go ahead and install this.
It smells.
Insert it in the hole. And if you have like a big socket that fits over this, good. You can put it over it and start hammering away. If not, then you're gonna have to do this. And work it in. And you're good. Nice and flush. I'm going to put a little bit of grease on the inside of this seal so it doesn't tear up once it runs. You never want to put this in dry because it'll be painful if it's dry. So you're good. Just a little bit, that's all. You can also put a little coating of oil if you want to. Alright, now we're going to take the paper out on the bottom and we're going to oil up the chain and the gears with some motor oil. I'm going to clean every single bolt out with the wire wheel. If you have a wire brush, you can also wire it out. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so we cleaned all the bolts. Just put them in just like this. You're going to put the cover on first. Then you're going to put these three in bolts. Then you're going to put the water pump on because the water pump goes through the timing cover also and tightens everything down. So just set it up first the way it is. I'm just going to take everything off, put it to the side, and I'm going to put this cover on and get ready with the gasket. I'm going to put some gasket cinch. It's a gasket sealer. I'm going to put it all over this gasket Then we'll put on the block, then put on the other side of the gasket. Now this gasket only goes one way. The lines go this way. If you flip it around, they don't line up. So I'm gonna go ahead and brush everything on this side. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put an even coating of this stuff all around here. Light thin coat all around. Now make sure this is nice and dry, the surface you're putting it on. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the dowel key, there's two dowel keys, 1, 2. So I'm gonna align the gasket with those. Yeah, and trying to do this with the camera in your face isn't too fun. So right there. I'm gonna let this dry a little bit. Alright, now put a little bit on this side, all around.
Looks like fucking horse semen.
Smells like it too.
How do you know, man?
You know, I heard it smells like this.
I don't want to know, dude. Visiting the clown ranch.
Clown does some naughty things sometimes. It's drying for a couple of minutes, so we're gonna put this timing damper on in the middle. It's a 12mm bolts, and this is some SA gear, part number 7059. So go ahead and put that in. All right, now you see this recess here? This goes in there, so just gotta put in like that. In the hole, there's always a hole. You guys know that by now. And I'm good at finding them. So just thread those in. I made a mistake on camera, it's not 12mm to 11mm. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tighten these down. Alright, now to put this back on. You see the two dowels over there in the corner? On the bottom? Gotta get those in. Then this will sit right in flush. Just like that. Now put the 3 bolts in. Okay, now I'm not gonna tighten it all the way down. Just snug. Then I'm gonna go back and tighten these down once I put the water pump up. Alright, now I'm gonna take all these bolts off this water pump and put thread sealer on all of them.
Smells like my Uncle Francine's asshole.
Yes, it does. You're not gonna ask me how I know? My camera girl has laughing issues. Don't mind her. Put some more of this gasket sealer. The lines go on the timing cover. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a thin coat here, and on the other side. Then I'll put the water pump on. Alright, so I put a little light coat on here. And I'm just gonna align the holes. Just like that.
The water pump came with a gasket, but we're using the Fel Pro one.
That's right. Thank you, camera girl.
No problem, Manny. Anytime.
Alright, now time to get frisky with the camera girl. See you guys in 5 minutes. Alright, so I'm gonna make this a 2-man hand job. And my camera girl's gonna help me. So I guess a 1-man, 1-woman job. Hand job. Alright, let's go here and do this. You align the holes. Hold on. Hold on. Alright.
balls are in.
Alright, now it's just tightening them down.
I want to catch at least one or two.
Now, I want to show something to you guys real quick. Here, you have a small bolt like this on this corner. Nowhere else here is a small bolt like this. So, just a little tip here for that one. So now we're just going to go ahead and tighten everything down. Now here are these small 5/16 bolts. I'm using a 1/4 inch ratchet and I'm holding it close to the ratchet head so I don't put a lot of torque on it. You just want to snug it down and go back and forth with these 3 bolts. Alright. So I pretty much went around the whole water pump and tightened down all the bolts. And we're good. Now to install it, for this car we had to go to Advance Auto. Again, this is just where we're going. You go wherever you want with the free loaner tool program. This is power built model number 648616. And this is how you install the harmonic balancer in this car. What you need from here is this. You'll need the 9/16-18, which goes at the end of this. There's different adapters for different cars. And you need the bearing and the nut. So I'll show you how this goes together. Okay. Before you start this, it's a good idea to put a little bit of butter sauce on here. On all the threads. Yep. You see the dowel right there? That goes with the slot in here. So align that and put it in the hole, baby. Just like that. And now we're going to thread this into the crank snout. Now put the bearing here and put the nut on. Alright, now put an adjustable wrench on it and start cranking away. And as you can see, it's already starting to go in. Alright, now once the harmonic balancer starts turning, just put a little pry bar in there. Now I wedged a little pry bar in there between this timing cover in the back and the harmonic balancer so it won't spin. And some cars you can't do this with. This has a real thick flanged timing cover, so you could get away with this on this car. So let me go ahead and tighten this down. It's a slow process, so it's gonna take a while. Alright, so we're pretty much done. Now you can take the tool off. So that's how you install it. You can tell back here just by touching it back here that it's pretty much really close to the timing chain cover, and you're pretty much done. And this is very, very hard to turn at the end. You almost, it's almost impossible to turn. That's when you know that this is seated. So I'm just gonna go ahead and turn this off and pull this out. Alright, I'm gonna put the 4 bolts in and the crank pulley bolt. This you could do it down to 60 to 70 foot-pounds when you tighten it down. And I'm gonna put these in the pulley and on now. Ground strap. Ground strap. I love straps. And that goes in here. That's an 18mm. Low radiator hose. Pop that bad boy in. And put the clip all the way up. And that's it. Alright, now you put this under here. Snake it through. And put it over to the water pump. Put this hose on over here. Little trick. Clamp it down with a pair of vice grips if you don't have hose clamp pliers. Put an extension behind it and push down on it like that. And then let go of the vice grips. Alright, so pretty much everything else is a reversal of how I took everything apart. Real quick, what I'm going to do right here, right now, I don't want to make this video 10 hours long. I'm just going to put the power steering pump, these two studs go into that bracket over there, and this goes behind this water pump bracket over there on the head, and this bracket goes over here. Then I'm going to put this bracket on. So I'm just going to go ahead and put these on right now. Alright, so we buttoned everything up, put the belts on, the hose on, pretty much everything's done. Now we're going to crank it up for the first time. Make sure you put you bleed all the air out of the cooling system. I have a video on how to do that. And if it doesn't crank up and start up, you might want to play with the timing a little bit to see if it cranks, if it starts. So, and also if you're on top dead center, if the rotor's pointing at top dead center in the first cylinder. So we go ahead and crank this up right now. Alright, so that concludes our video of how to replace a timing chain. And this could be applied to almost any engine, V8. Same could be applied to timing belts. But yeah, and if you have overhead cams, you have to align the marks. Make sure you know where the specs are to align the marks. So thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel. You know you want to. Subscribe to me, like me, and do the hell you want to me. There's plenty of content to go around. See ya.